Hi everyone, my name is Emmanuel Savarza and I'll be presenting on mastering member retention and engagement. So to start off with, a little bit about me. So I recently graduated from UCLA with a BS in computer engineering. I'm from Santa Clarita with Raíces de Jalisco, Mexico. I served as secretary for 1 year as well as president of the UCLA chapter for 2 years. And I'm super passionate about building community. This past year, I'm happy to announce that we were able to increase retention during the fall quarter by about 60% and 30% in the winter and spring quarters. And as just a little fun fact, I started a ballet folklorico group called Luna Tapatía with a group of friends when I was in around middle school, high school age. So to start off with, engaging new and returning members. So first impressions are super, super important for hooking on all of the new members as well as the returning ones at the beginning of the year. You're going to want to have very strong strong onboarding communication, and this can look like welcoming social media posts, intro events that have the focus on creating friendships among the new members with the returning members. At UCLA, we like to start off the year with a beach bonfire that gives members kind of like a casual way to meet each other, talk, and just be silly. And so that's something that I suggest, kicking off the year with very fun and interactive events, with the intention of creating this fun environment for people to meet each other. You want to make sure that you include some sort of like icebreakers, team-based games, challenges, really anything to get people to talk to each other casually. And as you go along with this, you're going to want to understand your audience. In that first meeting, it's super important that you survey the demographics of an interest of the members joining, as well as their motivations for joining SHIP, whether that be the professional development, whether that be academic support, whether it be just a community of Latinos to have fun with and vibe. And as you go along with this, you also want to make sure that you host regular and diverse events. This can be a mixture of social, academic, career, and service-based events. That way you can reach and meet the value of all of your members. In addition, there's also going to be lots of photos of events that we've had. So this year is from our Shiplinas picnic. So continuing on, creating a welcoming environment. First and foremost, you're going to want to make sure that no one feels left out. And you may ask, what does that look like? Well, that can look like having Hispanic aspects in programming, such as having, Hispanic foods and relevant holiday themes. Being vocal that SHIP is here to help all Latinos in STEM and that it's a home for everyone who wants to support this mission. In addition, and I think this is also super important, is setting the expectation for board members to be a leader amongst general members. You're going to want to have a conversation with them before the school year starts to say, hey guys, you guys are the leaders of this club, and I want to make sure that everyone knows that so that they can lean on you when the time comes. You're going to want to ask them to do specifics such as, if there's someone you haven't met before, go up to them, ask for their name, make them feel seen and heard to build that community. If there's, someone who's sitting alone, go sit by them. If there's someone who maybe is a little bit more shy, maybe introduce them to some other people. That way, you kind of build this community. So moving on to promoting leadership opportunities. So this is something that we've seen is super important for retaining a lot of the first years as well as the upperclassmen. So first and foremost, empowerment. We like to let members pitch ideas for events or food because it kind of gives them a sense of responsibility saying, hey, I suggested this and it happened. So it kind of makes them more inclined to come to events. In addition, we also like to have mentorship. So this is something that we do by forming familias. It'll be a group of about around 2 to 3 upperclassmen with 3 or more underclassmen. And it kind of it's supposed to be this flexible relationship between a mentor and a mentee where they can ask anything, whether that be career, whether that be academic, saying, hey, is this group of classes good for the next semester or quarter? Or saying, hey, I have this interview. It's just this relationship where people can lean on each other. And it also gives the upperclassmen a sense of ownership, saying, okay, this is my familia that I'm here to help out. And this is also something that you can help out with forming with some sort of like infrastructure. Something that we've talked about at UCLA is kind of reimbursing familia, saying, hey, if you guys have an event with, six or more people, we'll reimburse the dinner you guys have for that thing. Moving on, we also UCLA also hosts an internship program that's intended for the first years, but anyone is welcome to join. And again, it gives them an opportunity to shadow the e-board. And so the e-board, we ask them to recruit, 0 to 3 interns, depending on the available work that they have to delegate. And so they kind of stick with them, come to the board meetings, as well as help out with anything they can. And it's very important that the interns come in with the expectation that they can put in as much or as little effort as they wish. This is something where they don't have to be scared that they're going to overcommit themselves. You don't want the interns to come in with this fear because, many of them are first years. So they're balancing, in addition to this internship program, how to be a student at the new college that they're at. You know, they may go through a lot. So you just want to give them that flexibility and that support that that no matter what, they're foreseen and they have a place there. And lastly, general committees for big events. So this is something where you can recruit leads for membership to help out on specific projects. So this can be stuff such as outreach programs where you need someone to lead a workshop. This can be like organizing some sort of banquet or winter formal, things like that. Moving on, communication. You want to make sure that everyone knows about all of the fun stuff that your ship chapter is hosting. And so to do that, you're going to want to find a platform that works best for your ship chapter. So you're going to use metrics and surveys to find out what is most effective. For many chapters I've spoken to, that can look like Slack, Teams, WhatsApp, Instagram newsletters, or a mix of all of these together. You're going to want to find out what your members use the most and kind of stick with that. Us here at UCLA, we use Instagram stories for advertising upcoming events and then use the posts for uploading photos to kind of induce a sense of FOMO. You're going to want people to see all the things that you're doing and be like, oh my God, I wish I was there. Here on the right, you could see one of a screenshot of our Instagram. You can see we've had stuff like a transfer student kickback, a event with FinCons group where we had an info session with In-N-Out, a tailgate, a Sola's White Elephant party, all that sorts of stuff. And one key component to communication that's super important is being consistent and reliable with advertising. It helps members build a habit of checking when ship events are and also enables members to always know what's going on. Moving on, so tracking and measuring retention. So you're going to want to track attendance and satisfaction at these events by utilizing event sign-in forms through maybe Google Forms, doing post-event polls, anonymous suggestions, and getting feedback from those. After the fact, you're going to want to reflect on these statistics to evaluate the event success. And do note that attendance should be analyzed on a semester by semester basis because the needs of the members may change between them. And so you want to analyze them both to kind of effectively see, are we doing good this semester or not? And once you take note of all these, you're going to want to document this all in the CMT. And so one way that we kind of organize this is through a Google Sheets attendance tracker that we have created. And so this is organized by the quarterly ship reports, so retention, recruitment, and success. And so this includes all of the events, the people's first and last name, as well as a yes or no whether they attended the event. And through each yes or no, we use this to create some sort of tally of points to reward ship members at the end of the quarter or the year. And some ship chapters, they may give every single event 1 point. I've also heard some that if it's an event where they have to put in a little bit more effort, such as an outreach event or something that where they have to drive, they'll give them a couple more points. But it's something that's unique and up to each ship chapter and what you think is fair. In addition, using this method is very useful for the ship reports because through the attendance and the total hours of the event, you can get a really good estimate on the number of hours supporting ship's mission by doing a little bit of Excel math. So moving on to addressing challenges and learning from feedback. So as I mentioned before, it's super important that everyone takes a note of the general needs through surveys. And so that could be, verbal, Google Forms, a paper slip box, whatever you feel like is effective for your ship chapter. And once you take that, you're going to want to host regular SWOT discussions with your board because you may not know it, but your most powerful tool are the diverse ideas that come from brainstorming with your board. It's through this that you're able to enable more and more powerful programming to give the best value to each of your members. One of the very popular SWOT discussions that we regularly have is the noticeable decline in retention after Shift Nationals. And so we kind of had a problem solve this of why is this happening? And we had to focus on any specific positive change that we can make to improve this programming. And after lots of discussion of this, we realized that the needs of our members change after this. Uh, they or after the SHIP National Conference, we noticed that a lot of our members put in a ton of effort into technical projects because they realized maybe that they needed more to talk about on their resume, more specifics that are stronger to kind of be uh, more better candidate during the hiring season. In addition to just wanting to just relax and have more fun. So on the specifics more about SWOT, uh, the way that SHIP provides the SWOT analysis in the CMT, we like to take it a step further by doing SWOT analysis on specific programs. Here's an example of how we do it for Bridge and Breeze program as well as our first Geno meeting. And so we'll organize each of the SWOT analyses templates into the CMT under the value provided in recruitment, the other one on event organization, as well as the value evaluation. And so this makes it very easy when we're filling out the SHIP reports and really helps out the following year to see, okay, this year's this year's chapter did really good on this, and this. However, these were some problem areas that we should watch out for next year. And so it kind of enables them to do a better job when the time comes. So moving on, leveraging SHIP resources. So you want to remember that you have a whole community of SHIP chapters around you. First and foremost, your regional team. Their whole job is to help you have the best success that you can at your SHIP chapters. So they can help you with giving you ideas, and they also may have funding if you want to host some sort of internship relations or regional activities. For example, here at UCLA, we have some help from the regional team in hosting stuff like a Shipsgiving event after Ship Nationals or a soccer tournament with all of the Ship chapters in the SoCal area. In addition to the regional team, you're also going to want to lean on your fellow community of SHIP chapters. If you're connecting with other student chapters, you can ask them for advice, collaborations on events, and if you, especially if you have professional SHIP chapters in the area, you're also going to want to build a relationship with them. It's an opportunity for professional development support or networking with industry. A mentor-mentee relationship, something to empower both of your members. In addition to this, I also like to look on the Instagrams for inspiration. Sometimes, or not sometimes, all the time, other ship chapters would be really creative in creating new events or fundraisers that are like amazing ways to engaging their members. Um, on that note, so here are some event ideas that we at UCLA love hosting. So you can peruse through this and look at them if you need some help brainstorming for fun stuff. And with that, I just want to say thank you very much for having me.